Hey guys, finally we have the information for Windsong's Euphoria, and it seems like she will be stacking measures on top of her usual playstyle, which is to stack as many or accumulate as many incantation and unleash it with her ultimate, but now on top of that you want to gain measure as well. So let us look at rank 1, okay, interdisciplinary research new effect for each access Eureka gain 1 stack of measure. So ultimate does not take up the allied incantation draw limit, so now you will definitely get her ultimate, that is good. But it seems like I say, the focus of her gameplay now is related to measure. You want to get it max and then you cast ultimate. However, what is the max value we do not know yet. And now when she uses her ultimate, remove all measure stacks after acting. So mapping no longer grant measure based on access Eureka. So that's unfortunate. She cannot gain measure, which means we have to gain it before we use the ultimate. Okay? And it seems like she never get any Moxie gain from her Euphoria. So I think for her short duration, should still be 3 rounds. And I think her long cycle gameplay is still relevant. You can still go for that. But if you are playing like Focus Flashback, then you probably accumulate maybe until 6 rounds. And at the 6th round, you unleash all of it. For rank 2, practicability now deals additional mental damage. Don't really have to bother about this one because we just use this to gain precast, right? We don't use this for damage. And her ultimate will convert this into rehabilitation. So yeah, I think the rank 2 doesn't really mean anything. Rank 3, rehabilitation now deal additional mental damage from consuming Eureka. Should be 2. When attacking, for certain number of measure, deal additional mental damage. So again, we do not know, but if she can hit like maybe 30, 40 measures, then perhaps each of these attack will really deals a lot of damage. And finally, at rank 4, measure stack limit is increased and its duration is removed. Yeah, so don't bother about duration. You can stack it up all the way until 10 turns, getting all your incantation there, you're getting to the maximum measures and blast it. So yeah, there's one way to play Windsong. Not new, definitely this is the old way we are actually doing it before this. Yeah, anyway, talking about measures, each measure is 3% crit and crit damage. At 40 stacks, okay, assuming she can go up to 40 stacks of measure, then that is 120% crit and crit damage. So rehabilitation have access crit to crit damage. So definitely with this additional crit going in, she will deal a lot of damage by converting. And remember, if you have Flutter Page, it's going to be crazy. But before we talk about Flutter Page, let us look at ways to increase measure. First of all, mapping no longer grant measure, but now access Eureka give 1 measures. And you remember 6 Euphoria can directly grant 10 Eureka. So if Windsong is there, 6 is just giving him every time 6 casts above, Windsong get 10 measures. That is like 30% crit and 30% crit damage. Do it multiple times and you can easily get to the max limit of measures, increasing her damage dramatically. Okay, not only that, by having empowerment 1, 6 can auto rank up Windsong's incantation, making overall her damage to be even higher. And apart from 6 here, I'm also thinking about impromptu because measure can be gained per attack that crits. So impromptu do a lot of attack. So here, Flutter Page and Keeperina. Then both of them is generating a lot of inspiration, triggering impromptu. Just use Adio Coda on Flutter Page, right? And then you can get so much more measures that you can easily max it out. So if you have like 6 Keeperina Flutter Page, I think you can easily max out measures, which is important if you are doing the short cycle rotation. So here, the preliminary rotation I'm suggesting, Windsong still uses Unfinished Tune. Then here one thing is if you are using Unfinished Tune, sometimes you don't get Flutter Page AP plus 1 or 6 buff. So means Flutter Page being P1 is even more important. And you just got to pray hard that you get more of 6 buff. Okay? Yeah, for the rotation, I think is first quickly get Flutter Page ultimate, so that once she start channeling, she also can trigger a lot of inspiration, and she also do a lot of follow attack, which helps to increase her gas stack to 25. 6 just uses his buff anytime it's available to give as much Eureka as possible to Windsong, and then every 3 round you use Windsong's ultimate. If it's long cycle, perhaps you don't even need 6, because with all the follow-up attack from Impromptu, maybe you should be able to hit max stack by, 10 turns or 20 rounds into raid. You probably will have max stacks anyway, so you don't need 6 to give that additional Eureka. And here, synergy with Flutter Page. Like I say, Flutter Page Gauss is going to be crazy. Here, Windsong base crit is 52%, crit damage is about 172%. If you include the percentage from measures, assuming 40 stacks, you're going to get like 177 and 302. Then now, remember, Flutter Page provides damage dealt based on crit percent times crit damage minus 100%. So here the calculation is that with all the crit, she definitely have 100% crit. The excess 77 is being carried forward as crit damage. So she have like 379% crit damage. Now minus 100, so 279. So 100% of this 279 will be the damage dealt. So Windsong gonna have 279 damage dealt, and you will see that each of her attack is going to be crazy. Maybe up to 1 million or 2 million. I think it's possible. Alright, and for her teammate, like I say, 6. If not, you can use He Guang. I think He Guang, short rotation, removing her all the cards and then getting more Windsong's cards, with Flutter Page removing her cards as well. Yeah, you're gonna get all these measure stacks that you want, and then when you get the ultimate, you just unleash. I think overall, this team will be a good team for short cycle. Okay, for long cycle, I don't know, maybe you can bring in Kakania back, because the Genesis damage still does significantly a lot, right? Especially if you're having like a P5 Kakania. But that we will have to further see and further test it out and see how it goes. The other teammate that I think you can use if you don't have her best in slot, you can use Lopera and Charon, because I think that now with their ultimate removing their own card, they're going to be pretty suitable. So here, if Flutter Page is still in, I think Flutter Page is pretty much the core. You shouldn't remove Flutter Page. So like, let's say Flutter Page and Lopera, both of them can remove cards. And then Flutter Page and Charon, both of them can remove card. If you're using Charon, then you don't use Keeperina, you use Enigma instead. So you can at least charge Dynamo and all those stuff. But yeah, I think this will be other team that can work. I'm not saying that they are the best, but they should be able to work with Windsong. But make sure just don't use Lopera and Charon together, because their array don't overlap. Overall, I don't think this team without Flutter Page and 6 or He Guang, you can hit like very high measure, but I think you will have more incantation to spam when you are using her ultimate. So it might be some trade-off, but it shouldn't be that bad. Okay, anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.